So, as an only child of Jewish Ukrainian immigrant parents, I've always felt a lot of pressure to be successful because I would hear things like, the only reason we came to this country is for you. Our only source of happiness is to see you happy and successful. So you can see how I would feel a lot of pressure to be successful. And how was I going to do that? I was going to do that by studying like crazy while other kids were out having fun and having a string of jobs, so random. But the only things they had in common was one, they were like really dirty and crappy. Two, they paid hardly anything at all. And three, nobody wanted them. So, your typical immigrant jobs. So one day, I got a call from a Korean businessman that my family knew who asked me if I would come and translate Russian at his business meeting. And I thought to myself, so decades of Ukrainian Russification of Ukraine was going to pay off to me to help me achieve my American dream. Ironic. But he called me up to tell me what was going to happen. And he said, okay, so we're going to pay you $200 for this job. $200. He could have said $1 million and it would have kind of been the same thing. In my mind, I quickly did a calculation. $200 equaled about 497 poopy diaper changes. I covered up the phone and I screamed. And then I came back on and I said, I guess that would be okay. So here comes Friday night, the night that I was supposed to translate, and here comes this shiny black Mercedes to pick me up, and I decided I was going to try to look like an adult. I put up my hair up in a French twist, and I wore my best debate suit. Yes, I was that cool in high school. I had a letter for debate. So I get in this car, and it's all these like shiny leather seats, and I am thinking to myself, oh my gosh, in a car like this and dressed like that, surely I'm going someplace like the United Nations. So imagine my surprise when we pull up to something that looks like a seedy strip mall in Northern Virginia. And Mr. Kim, the businessman, greets me at the door. And it's a karate studio. And I am a little surprised because at a time where there should be a lot of students, there's nobody around. And he takes me to the back of the building through one curtain and then another curtain and multiple curtains, and it's getting darker and darker. And I am thinking to myself, okay, this is really weird, but that's okay. I'm a professional. I can handle this. And finally, we end up in the back room, and it's kind of low ceilings and, wood paneling and shag carpet. And I'm thinking, okay. And there sits Mr. Ivanov, the businessman, and his associates, and we say a quick hello. And, before you know it, I start translating. And at first, it's going great. They just talk about the weather and travels, and they talk about, their various families. They exchange gifts, like common to both cultures. And then I'm like, wow, words are rolling off my tongue, and I'm like doing really well. And just as I'm about to get super confident, the topic of conversation changes. And Mr. Kim says, Mr. Ivanov, I noticed you're not being accompanied by your wife on this trip. How would you like us to set you up with a companion? We have blondes, we have brunettes, we have redheads, or perhaps you might like someone a bit more exotic. And then he proceeds to describe these women with body parts in a way that I can't even believe I know all the words in both Russian and English for those various very adult body parts. And I am mortified, I am horrified, I am shocked. And it's like, the first time I realized what it really means for the floor to open up and just want it to swallow you alive. But it's clear to me that they have no idea that they have a horrified, shocked 17-year-old on their hands because they just keep going. And that tells me they're just kind of blended in with paneling, and I'm a really good translator. I am super relieved when the topic changes, except the next topic is illegal transfer of arms from Russia to various parts of the world, followed by some illegal drug deals. And as I'm translating, once again, being completely shocked that I know any of these vocabulary in both languages, there's another dialogue that's taking place in my mind because I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm translating for the Russian mafia. And I don't know a lot about the Russian mafia, but I had been watching all these 90s movies to learn English, including Russian mafia movies. And I know for a fact they're not merciful to people they consider to be complications. And I am beginning to feel like a major complication. And as I'm having this kind of out-of-body experience where I'm like watching myself, I'm becoming really sad because I'm thinking like I've been working so hard all these years and studying so hard, and I'm never going to get to do all these like normal kids get to do, like, you know, go to prom, go to parties, like have a boyfriend. And also, I'm trying to remember, did I tell my parents I loved them before I left the house? And finally, it strikes me as ironic that just the week before, our psychology teacher, Mr. Waters, had us write our own obituary. And mine read, Supreme Court Justice Margarita Rosenfeld dies at the age of 90 on a beach in Hawaii in the arms of her 30-year-old boyfriend, Miguel. And I'm really sad that I'm never going to meet Miguel because I've been practicing my Spanish really hard. And so as this kind of morbid internal dialogue takes place and I'm translating externally and apparently doing okay because I'm still part of the wallpaper, the evening comes to a close and they finish their conversation and everybody says goodbye, and Mr. Kim escorts me back to the car and hands me a fat envelope with $200, which I have a lot less enthusiasm for now because what am I going to do with it when I'm dead? So I get in the car and we're driving away and I'm watching the driver like a hawk because in those movies, the driver is often the assassin. And I'm wondering, does he have a silencer? Is he going to use my $200 as a really good tip for, doing away with me? And I'm getting tenser and tenser and tenser. And then the car stops and the driver opens the door and says, "Have a nice evening." And we're in front of my apartment building, and to dispel any suspense, I survive. I go on to college, and my parents and I pay for it with more crappy immigrant jobs. I do not become a Supreme Court justice. I become an executive coach, and it's very exciting because this week is my 23rd business anniversary. Thank you. And to this day, I have not met Miguel. And until I do, I'm practicing my Spanish. Thank you.